All right, so here I have a date and a time in the cell A1, and I want to get only time from this cell. So I'll use a small formula. So first of all, I'll refer to the cell A1 and I'll use a minus sign. And after that, I'll insert the function int and again refer to the cell A1, enter the closing parenthesis and hit enter. And now I'll change the format of the cell from number to time. So here I have 11:30 a.m. That is the time that we have in the cell A1. So here I have a value in the cell A1 that is 125 and I want to calculate cube root of this values. For this, I'll go to the cell B1 and I'll use the function power. So I'll enter the function and in the first argument, I'll refer to the cell A1 where I have the value, and in the second argument, I'll use 1/3 and then I'll close the parenthesis and hit enter. So this is the easiest way to calculate a cube root. But apart from that, you can also use a manual formula without any function, that's using a circumflex operator. So for this, I'll again refer to the cell A1 and after that I'll enter the operator of circumflex that you can enter by using shift +6 from your keyboard. And after that I'll enter 1/3 enclosed between parentheses and then I'll hit enter. So these are the two ways to calculate cube root in Excel. So here I have a list of numbers in the column A, and from this list I want to count the unique values. So for this, first of all, I'll enter the count A function, and to get the unique values, I'll use the function unique. So unique is a new function, and in this function, first of all, I need to select the list from which I want to count, from which I actually want to get the unique values. And in the second argument, it asks me that if I want to return unique columns or unique rows. So we have one column and I want to get unique rows. So I'll go by false. And in the third argument, it asks me for if I want to get those values which are actually unique, or I want to get each value once. So I want to get each value once. And after that, I'll close the parenthesis and hit enter. So it returns 6. That means there are 6 unique values in this list. All right, so I have a date here in the cell A1 and I want to get the name of the day from this date. So I want the day name, that is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So for this, I'll go to text function, select the cell, and in the format text, I'll use DDD and again the closing parenthesis and then hit enter. So this is how I can get the name of the day, name of the weekday from the date. And if I want the full name instead of a short name, I'll use 4 Ds here. Yes, that's it. So here I have a date in the cell A1 and I want to get the day number of this date. So there are 2 ways to get the day number. The first is to get the day number within the month. So if I use the day function that returns the day of the month from the date, so it will return 1. So that is the date is 1st January 2021. That means the first day of the month. But in the same way, if I want to get the day number from the week, in that case, I need to use the function weekday. So I'll go to the cell A1, I'll refer to the cell A1, and after that, I'll specify the second argument that asks me that what kind of week I want to take. So if I want to start my date from Sunday, or if I want to start my week from Monday or any day, there are options that I can select. So I want to start my day by Monday, and after that I'll close the parenthesis and hit enter. So it says the 5th is the day number. So 1st January has And let me show you the day, the name of the day here. So it's Friday. So if I start my week from Monday, so Friday is the 5th day in the week. So that is why it has returned 5. So you have two ways to get the day number. One is between the month from 1 to 31 days, and the second is to get the day number within the week. So here I have few dates in the column A, and I want to get total number of days for each month. So in cell A2, I have the date 1st January 2021, and I want to calculate the total number of days that I have in the January month. So for this, I'll use a formula that is the combination of the day function and EO month function. So first of all, I'll enter day function, and then I'll enter EO month function. Now for the start date, I'll refer to the date that I have, and for the month, I will use 0. And now the moment I hit enter, it gives me the total number of days that I have in the month of January. And now I'll drag it down to get the total days for rest of the month. So this is a quick formula to calculate total number of days that you have in a particular month. Here in the column A, I have few numbers, and some of these numbers are negative. So now I want to write a if condition, and I want to replace negative numbers with a 0. So here in the cell B1, I'll write my if condition with the if function. So I'll refer to the cell A1, and I'll use a lower than operator. So if my value is lower than 0, that is negative value, I want a 0. Otherwise, I'll go with the number that I have in the cell. So as in the cell A1, I have 9, which is a positive number. So it has returned 9. But the moment I drop this formula to the next cell, which is a negative number, it returns 0. So it's a simple way to write a if condition using the if function when you want to replace negative numbers with zeros. Alright, so here I have few values in the column A and B. I have a column of dates and a column of values. Now I want to sum values based on a range of dates. So for this, I'll use the sumIfs function. And in the first argument of the sumIfs, I will specify the column or the range from where I want to sum values. So that is the column B, B2 to B31. And in the second argument, I'll specify the range from where I want to look up for the criteria. So that is A2 to A31. Now in the first criteria, I will specify the minimum date, the lower date of the range. So that is 15th of January. But along with that, I will also specify a lower than and equals operator to create that range, so that it will specify, or it will refer to the date 15 and dates which are upper than that. So I will use a double quotation marks and a greater than sign and equal sign, and again I'll close it, and with the ampersand I will select, or I will specify the date that I have in the cell D5. Now again, to create a range of date for the the maximum date or the maximum range of the date, I'll again specify the criteria, and now I'll create that criteria of upper date. So again I will use the lower than and equals to sign. So this way it will only refer to the dates which are lower than the maximum date or equals to it. And I'll close the I'll enter the double quotation mark, close it, and I'll use ampersand, and after that I'll refer to the date which is the highest date in the range, that is 25th of January. Now here I have, let me re-explain this function here, the formula. This is the sum range where I want to sum the values. So this is the range where I have dates and I want to refer to the dates which are either equals to the 15th January or higher than that. And now again, I have this, date range, the criteria range, and in the criteria I have specified to refer to the dates which are lower than 25 or equals to it. So this way I have a range of criteria from 15th January to 25th of January. So it's a range from where I want to look up for the dates, and I want to sum values for only those dates. Now the moment I hit enter, it returns 15682. All right, so here in the column A, I have few values, and in these values, I have few, unwanted spaces. So in Excel, there are multiple functions that you can use to remove these spaces. And the first function out of those is the trim function. Now, when I use trim function and refer to the cell A1 and hit enter, it removes the spaces, all the spaces that I have before and after the, the value, but it will not remove the one space, that single space between two words. So this is the first function that you can use. Now if I try to use the same function with these values where I have numbers, so in this case it removes all the unwanted spaces, but it will not remove the spaces, the one single space that we have between two values. So here if I say 9 and 9, there is a space between these two nines, and I don't want this space. The trim function is working fine. There is no problem with the trim function, but the value, the type of the value is that I don't want that single space between the two values. So for this, what I will do, I'll use the substitute function. So I'll use the substitute function and refer to the cell where I have the value, and in the old text, I will enter a space because I want to remove the space. I want to substitute the space basically. So I will enter space in the old text, and in the new text I will enter a blank value. Blank value means no value, and the moment I hit enter, it removes all the spaces that I have in the cell and the value. Now if you see in the original value, you have 13 characters, and in the value that is returned by the substitute function, we have 10 characters. So this is a mobile number which is like consists of 10 different digits, and if I drag it down and try to count the length of the characters, so that's 10. So these are the two ways to remove unwanted spaces in Excel. It depends on the situation. And there's also one more function that you can use, and that's the clean function that removes all the non-printable characters from the text. It depends like which kind of value you have and which kind of spaces you want to remove. All right, so here I have a time value in the cell A1 and A2, and I want to convert this time into the military time. So in military time, we don't have this colon between hours and minutes, and we don't have this AM and PM. Military time is basically works on the 24 hours of time format. So for this, I'll use the text function, and I will refer to the time, and in the format I'll use HHMM. So as I said, there is no colon and AM and PM in the military time, so we don't have to specify the same thing in the format that I want to get in the cell B1. So the moment I hit enter, it gives me the 0035, and the moment I drag this formula to the second time value, it says 1235 hours. That means the 12:35 PM, that is the afternoon.